Hello, this is Tia, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another story. We are doing the third part of the Clockwork Chronicles, the Hero of Wonderberg story. Is the first segment of that. I don't know how many there will be, depending on how long some videos are. As you can tell, there's not many background noise. Probably because the power cord was disabled, which turned off everything because somebody accidentally unplugged it, and I haven't plugged it in yet. How do I know? My audio player activated it. Like, hey, power cord's not operated. You might want to put it back in, or I'm going to start complaining. It probably will start complaining. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge complainer, like my ear needs are anyway. So let's get right into the story now, shall we? If you haven't read the other parts, be sure you do so because, well, spoilers. And they somewhat answer questions. Not everything, though. Yeah, I'm going to dive into this fun little adventure. Hope you join me in the journey, like you have so far. Part 3, Heroes. I have changed that title for a few times. I did not deactivate it because I didn't think it was needed. My mistake. I don't want to do it. Oh well, I'll just ignore it. It's squishy. It's not important anyway. So, yeah, you don't need to worry about it. A few hours had passed, and early afternoon was steadily turning into early evening. There had been no signs of Mr. A or his men, who seemed to have completely disappeared after the attack. She knew better than to let down her guard, though, especially since she knew Keen and Priscilla were planning something to try and force the men out of the world. There had to be some way of doing it. As she neared the end of the hallway, she noticed Sam standing beside one of the doors, tall and determined, as well as very alert. He looked over to her when he saw her approach. She smiled at him with a greeting. "How long have you been standing there?" she asked the boy calmly, trying her best to find something to talk about, but all she could think about was Dappy. He'd been so hesitant to leave the Wonder Gem on his own, even with the assurance of his friends. He'd disappeared into the house as soon as they arrived, perhaps wanting some alone time. For a while, the boy shrugged. "Stampy's in the other room. I've just been staying in here to ease in case anything happens." "Does he know you're here?" she asked him. Sam nodded. "He does." She nodded her head and she smiled again. "You really do take these things seriously." "I have to. It's my job to protect my friends," the boy told her. Duckling nodded again. She noticed the boy fidget slightly. She tried to find something to say. "Would it be alright if I go in to talk to him?" she asked. "I know he wants to be alone, but I don't want him to think that he doesn't have someone to talk to if he needs it." "He trusts you, Squishy," the boy assured her. "I'm sure he knows he has someone to talk to. But whatever he's going through, he might find it easier talking over it with you than someone like me." "I'm not sure about that," she mused. "Sam shrugged. You're a special someone." She laughed. She shook her head in amusement. "Have you heard anything while you were standing there here?" "I haven't," the boy said with a frown. "I guess I could see if I could talk to him," she said suggestively. Sam nodded and stepped aside, gesturing for the door. "Go right ahead." "Thank you," she said sincerely as she opened the door and stepped through, walking in to find her friend sitting on the pre-made bed. "What did you do?" Spell check. "What did you do?" Looking out of the window quietly, he looked over towards her when he heard the door open, and the duckling could see a mountain of emotions on his expression. No doubt he was struggling with something. She knew it without having to ask. She had been friends with him for years. "Is it all right if I come and sit with you?" she offered gently to him. Stampy nodded his head and scooted down in the bed, patting the opening beside him. Of course. She said nothing as she went to sit down next to him, looking out of the window to see the wondering woods beyond the trees. Beyond. The trees were tall and full of rich green leaves, reaching far into the skies, swaying back and forth in the breeze, as if they were dancing. Is there any news about what's going on? The cat finally asked quietly, after a long pause of silence. Nothing much, she admitted simply, but Keen and Priscilla are working on a way to get Mr. A and his men out of the Wonderberg. That's good, the cat said, nodded slowly, looking out the window with an expression of sadness. Do you think it'll work? I hope so, Squish replied. Me too, the cat agreed, looking out the window down to the floor, staring at his feet, which fit brand new, shiny iron boots. They gleamed in the sunlight, and the light moved whenever the cat suddenly kicked them back and forth. Oh, is everything okay with you, though? Squish, she asked after a long moment of silence. Those men didn't hurt you or say anything to you, did they? The cat swallowed and shook his head sadly. They didn't hurt me physically. I can see that, she told him. You know what I mean, though. Stampy closed his eyes and took a deep breath, the duckling noticing the subtle glimmer of tears in her friend's eyes. Had something happened that she didn't know about? Should they not have left him behind and gotten Keen? What had the men done to him to cause her friend so much pain? Do you think I betrayed everyone? The cat finally whispered softly. Keen? Wonderberg? You? Of course not, she said quietly, putting a hand on her friend's shoulder. None of what is happening is any bit your fault. But I led them to the portal. I tried everything I could to keep them back, but someone would come, but... The cat tried off for a long moment, taking another breath before continuing. Okay, I had no choice. I led them straight to Wonderberg, straight to the Wonder Gem. I had no choice. And I failed. You tried, she said softly. None of what have happened there makes you a traitor. Stampy shook his head. I know, but Mr. A wants to turn everyone against me, and if the cause hears a whiff of this, they'll have the proof they need to finish me, if Mr. A doesn't turn everyone else against me first. I won't let that happen, she assured him quietly. I know you wouldn't, the cat admitted, but knowing those men are there because I let them here. They would have found a way, Stampy. Just quite, she told him simply. They would have figured out how to get to Wonderberg some way or another. They forced you into something you didn't really want to do. That doesn't make you a traitor. You didn't do it intentionally. But will anyone see any difference? The cat asked quietly. Your friends definitely will, she replied confidently. Think about it this way. If the men did find a way without you, then there wouldn't be a hero like you to stop them. The cat managed a small smile. Just one cat. How can one person like me stop an army of men led by the man who caused me so much pain? You're not doing it alone, she answered him calmly, meeting eyes with her friend. I fell in love with that hero that I know you are, and still are. I love you, Stampy. I hope you know that. I do, the cat replied with a nod. I now know I don't feel like a hero. There's so many things that could go so wrong. You'll find a way, she assured him. We do this together. Stampy nodded his head, glancing back at the floor quietly, before surprising Squishy into a hug, which she accepted. She didn't let go as she held on, feeling her friend sinking closer, knowing it was what he needed. He needed someone he could count on, someone he could trust. Squishy knew he wasn't the only one. She wasn't the only one, though. Sam was just outside, probably hearing snippets of their conversation, but that didn't bother her. They weren't doing this alone. She wanted to make sure her friends knew that. Her friend knew that. Finally, Stampy pulled away, ending the blissful moment with a sad smile, wiping away a few stray tears from his eyes. Thanks, Squishy. I really needed that. Anytime, Stampy, she replied happily. I'm here for you, if you need me. I'm glad, the cat said with a sigh as he looked out to the window. Once more, the crisp of the sky turning into a deep violet. Night was falling soon. No doubt they would need to call it a night. You want me to stay with you tonight? Squishy asked. I'll be alright, the cat assured her. I don't think the men would try to attack us so close to a powerful wizard, you know? Maybe, she shrugged. I just want to make sure you're safe, though. I know, the cat said simply. Sam won't be far, though, I'm sure. Neither will you. Of course, she agreed with a chuckle as she got up from the bed. Good night, then, Stampy. Good night, Squishy, the other cat replied softly as she walked towards the door, hesitating as she glanced back one last time, seeing her friend pulling back the covers of the bed and climbing in. She was glad to see he was doing better, but she knew it wouldn't be over. Not so long as those men were around. Hopefully they would have a peaceful night without dangers or risks on their lives, especially for Stampy, who had been through so much more than she could have imagined. She would be there for him. She knew that deep down. It was what he needed, even if it was a small thing, and at that moment, it would be enough. How much time do we have? Yeah. Unfortunately, we're going to have to end that episode there. I hope you guys enjoy. Yes, I know, sad, bittersweet, but just saving room for more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whenever that might be. Bye.